This is it. We are rolling. This is episode 281. Holy crap, 281 of No Laugh Track Podcast. My name is Justin Severson. I am here sitting on the stage at Acme Comedy Company in Minneapolis. Circle of Heat provided us with the music you just heard. My guest with me is 48 hours ago. Had no idea I was going to see him this week.
That's right.
Had no clue. And then some things changed, and I ended up coming to the club last night and seeing his stand-up set. And here we are together, me and Isaac Witty.
Hi. Yep. Here I am. I didn't think I'd be here, but boy, glad to be here.
Let's just cover that real quick. It was you were always scheduled to work. Today's Thursday.
Yes.
You were always scheduled to work Tuesday.
Just Tuesday because apparently David Crow had something going on, and so I was leaving the show Tuesday, and David Crow sent me a message saying, "Hey, I just sent the club an email. Can you hammer it home to him? Let him know as soon as possible that this happened." And I let him know, "Hey, I can do it. I don't have anything to do." And,
That's good.
Yeah.
So the whole week is now yours.
It's mine. It's as though David Crow was never booked this week.
You know, I looked back because you've been on this podcast before a few times.
Yeah, maybe this might be my third time.
I think so. One time I know was with Dave Mordahl, our mutual friend.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then another time, it was just the two of us, and it was a week similar to this.
It was a cancellation week.
Do you remember who that was?
No, who canceled that week?
John Doerr.
John Doerr.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I remember making money because of him. Yeah.
What's the protocol? Do you now send David Crow a get well basket? Or
I sent him. I sent him a message saying, what kind of sick were you? And then really, I've known him for a long time. No need to hammer it home. Really, I know him. But I just said get better. That's all.
Yeah.
So
have you has this been reversed for you? Like have you had to bail out on a week somewhere or a night? Or?
God. Oh, I've had horrible luck with helium in Philadelphia. There have been 2 times in a row of going there. Actually, the second time was my fault. I was in a crazy relationship, which led to me not looking at the calendar and not knowing that, hey, you should get ready for that airplane ride tomorrow.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the first time was totally the airline. It was the airline's fault. And the second time that I showed up a day late, it was because I was in a crazy relationship. And I lost management because of that.
Oh, no.
Oh, it was a bad deal. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, I had to get my life under control after that one. But both times, it's never happened to me other than that one club, Helium in Philadelphia.
Did you end up going late?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember getting a phone call from the guy that books the place who I used to be pretty good friends with. Yeah, he was saying, I'm going to give him a call, and if they say fuck the week, I say fuck the week too. So, but it turns out they said, yeah, okay, he can come back, but in their minds, they're like, we'll never have him back. So I've never been back to Philadelphia, Helium, even though I worked the first week there they were ever opened.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it was a sad time for me.
Well, think about this.
Yep.
Wouldn't it be great if you were booked there this weekend?
Oh, man.
I mean, Acme obviously is the best, but
right.
There'd be a good time to be in Philly this weekend.
Oh, unless you were to say, like, I'm from Minneapolis and go Vikings. That might not be good.
You wouldn't deliver jokes in a Case Keenum jersey?
Oh, my God. They would be so furious. Actually, I've seen that there's actually things in the newspaper about Minnesota people need to beware.
Yes.
Yeah, because Philadelphia fans are very mean, apparently.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that, too. They're the Vikes, obviously, people listening to this, they know Vikings are playing in Philadelphia this Sunday, NFC Championship. And I've seen that same thing. The local experts in Philly are saying, like, if the Vikings win, take your jersey off on the way out.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying? I didn't read the article. Wow.
Yes.
Take your jersey off on the way to your hotel or on your way
if the Vikings win. Don't be seen as a Vikings fan on the way out.
Goodness, gosh. I mean, God, yeah, there's not going to be people, if you get drunk and you're in the heat of the moment, you're not going to go, hey, I hate you, Bob. But I suppose you guys have never won a Super Bowl, and yeah, maybe it is better that you guys, in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I don't think they have sympathy for our decades of losing.
No, probably not.
Hey, you know what? We had Carson Wentz and things didn't work out. It's your year. That's fine. That's totally fine.
Yeah, it's really tense right now. Like, I was so scared. Like, I was at this bar called the Wild Onion in St. Paul.
Oh, yeah.
And I was there watching the second half of the game. And when the Saints were just about to kick the field goal, which I knew that they were going to get, I left the bar in a rage. I paid my tab, and I was like huffing and puffing all the way home, which is only like 5 blocks from there. But I was just mad. I was just about to post it on Facebook, and in my drunken mind at the time, I was like, this is a contract to myself. Like, I wrote, I quit sports. I'm never going to care again. This is stupid to care about this type of thing. And I was just about to, and I thought, I'm not going to push sin until the end of the game. And then I got home just in time to hear the last play of the game.
Yeah.
And then my phone started blowing up with all my friends that know I'm a Vikings fan. Like, congratulations. And, yeah, so I don't quit sports.
Friends from, like, out of town, out of state?
Well, all my Tulsa friends, all my friends from the road. Yeah, those types of friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was neat. But I didn't get to see it when it happened.
Well, me neither.
You didn't? Why?
Well, I'm on such an amazing streak. So I think I work at the stadiums as a beer man.
Mm-hmm.
Used to work at the Metrodome. I do some Twins games. I do every Vikings. I worked every Vikings game this year. I was there Sunday. I also work every Wild game.
Okay.
Sunday, Vikings played. Then the Wild played at 7:00.
Oh my God.
It was originally a 6:00 game. They bumped it back an hour to sort of accommodate Vikings fans.
Yeah.
So I went over, worked the game. Normally I sell beer. Normally beer sales end at the end of the third quarter. I stopped with like 5 minutes left in the third quarter.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the real clock, thinking I got to get to St. Paul. So I checked out. Got to my car, drove to St. Paul. Obviously listened to what was going on in the game the whole drive over.
Yeah.
I park on the street in St. Paul, about let's say like a mile from the stadium. So I got about that far to walk to get in, and I'm going down West 7th, and every time I get by a bar, I'm looking in the window to see if there's any updates. There's people coming out of the bar talking about what's going on. I'm at the intersection across the street from the XL, and people are just like, oh, son of a fucking this guy's like murmuring about the Vikings curse. The game had not ended yet. It was still going on. But somebody's like, so anybody know what's going on? The guy's like, yeah, the Saints are lining up for a field goal. Fucking Vikings curse. Yeah. I get into the stadium, and you've probably seen the videos they've posted of the thousands standing in the concourse at the XL before the game, watching it up on the big screen. Oh, wow. I stand there for a second, see a play. I go downstairs at the XL to where our locker room is, and there's another TV down there. Yeah. And at this point, there's, 20 seconds left or something? Or 14 seconds left.
I think it was
Case Keenum.
12.
Case Keenum. I watch him throw an incomplete pass, and I go, fuck this. Yeah. And I turn from the TV and start walking away. Kevin Gorg, who does, he's like a sideline guy for, Fox Sports North.
He's the hundreds?
Yeah, he walks by me at that time because he's going up to work do the sideline stuff for the hockey game. Yeah. And I say to him, I go, nothing like rushing over here to show up to work to 19,000 depressed fans. And he goes, well, I don't think there'll be that many. I go into the locker room. 30 seconds later, I hear the biggest cheer I've ever heard in my life. In my life. That's what happened. I was taking my pants off, changing clothes when they won the game.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. But that goes. But something similar to this happened in 1991. It was the first year I ever worked at the Metrodome. Yeah. I worked the Twins championship series against the Blue Jays.
Oh, 91, yeah.
Yeah. Then I worked the World Series against the Braves. Game 7.
You were there?
At the Metrodome.
Yeah.
10th inning. I'm checked out. I'm done working. My buddy and I worked there together. We're standing in one of the stairwells right behind home plate watching the game.
Wow.
And a deck manager comes up and goes, "Come on, guys, you know you can't be up here. You got to get downstairs." And we're like, "Dude, it's Game 7. This is it. Like it could end in the next pitch. It could end. Come on, guys." And escorted us downstairs to our locker room.
Oh,
Same deal. Within 30 seconds. And the Twins are world champions. Didn't see it till I got home that night.
Good for you for supporting the rules, guy. Like
mother
wow.
fuck. So I've attended some of the biggest sporting events in Minnesota history, but not seen them.
Yeah.
But not seen them.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so frustrating because I heard in St. Paul where I live, no one celebrates at all. I was shouting out the window. My voice isn't all the way there right now because of it. And nobody did anything. This is a vacant street outside. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a quiet town. I'm a St. Paul guy too, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not a fan. I can't wait to move back to Minneapolis.
Are you have you got any Vikings games this year? Did you go this year?
No, well, I didn't go to any this year. No, I didn't. I went to one last year. I went to the second. The second preseason game.
Okay, so you've been in the new stadium.
I haven't been in the stadium, but I have not spent a lot of time there. No.
Right on.
No.
Right on. Are you? Do you care that the Super Bowl's here?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait. I think it's going to be incredible. Like if the Vikings are, God, I just can't. I'm just so excited about. I'm really excited about. If they win on Sunday, I'm excited about the idea of 2 weeks of the it's going to be here.
Yeah.
You know, like that's going to be so much fun. Not only is our team going to be in the Super Bowl, but it's going to be right here, and we're going to be able to come downtown in our own town and be able to see it. Like that's going to be incredible.
Yeah,
once in a lifetime situation. I got to think, but
yeah, for sure.
Let's not get too excited about that now.
I know. We Kostaki Economopoulos was here last week. You know, he's a big football fan.
Yep.
He does a football podcast. You know?
Does he really? Okay.
Yeah, Quick Snaps. And he and I had the conversation. Like, I have to remind myself to enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. Yeah, because it's very easy to just go, what if this happens? And what if that happens? Yeah, it's nerve-wracking is what it is. God, it's so nerve-wracking. For some reason, I was so much more nervous this time last week than I am this week, even though we have an out-of-town game this week.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it?
It is strange. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they're a very good team. Yep. I mean, they're with the second-string quarterback, but I don't look at Case Keenum as a second-string quarterback
not anymore.
At all. Not at all. I mean, whereas their guy took over, 3 games ago?
Something like that.
Yeah, I think we're a better team, but I don't know. Yeah.
I made the joke after I think it was Case Keenum's second week starting for the Vikings. I wrote on Twitter, I just said, "Who's starting Case Keenum in fantasy football this week?" Thinking the Vikings are fucked, and just making a joke out of it. Well, within 4 weeks after that, he was the starting quarterback on my fantasy football team because he had such a good year.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah,
there was what's the guy's name? The guy that just got the head coaching job, who's been an analyst for years now.
Oh, John Gruden?
John Gruden used to have that show. I saw this clip on Twitter recently of him talking about him doing the episode with Case Keenum.
Yeah.
And you watch it, it's like a prophecy. He goes like, one day, somebody's going to give you a chance, and just be sure you make the most of it.
Yeah, that's
true. He got the chance, and so he did. Yeah.
What does Gruden think we're going to win? Does he have a prediction for that?
I don't know. Yeah.
How deep do we go into his knowledge?
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about you now in the comedy that I witnessed last night.
Okay.
First of all, very fun.
Thank you.
Very fun show.
Thank you.
You're as crazy as ever on stage.
Yeah. Thanks.
How? Let's see. And then Mike Early's working this week, and Greg Coleman.
Yeah. Yeah. Mike Early has been a guy. Anytime I have a gig outside of town and I need an opener, I always take Mike Early with me.
Oh, you do?
Oh, I've been a big fan of Mike Early for a while now. Just he's fearless and he works hard.
You're right. Fearless is a good word.
It really is. Like I like how that guy. Like there's such a. I know it's so cliche to say, but there's such a PC thing going on right now. Like he's very fearless and like going against the grain on that. It's really fun to watch him talk. Like some of the stuff that he does. And yeah, he's really great. And of course, Greg. I mean, God, Greg. I think me and Cy and Tim Harmston and everybody. I think we're all everybody. Anybody with a brain has their money set on him. If there's going to be a celebrity, the next celebrity to come out of Minneapolis, it's going to be Greg Coleman. If there's going to be a celebrity,
yeah, I can totally see that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that guy's got charisma. He's hilarious and fearless and.
My wife didn't know he was on the bill last night, and when he came out, she was like, elbow me, like, Greg Coleman, we got Coleman.
Greg Coleman's great, yeah, and just a super nice guy too. It's always nice to work with people that you can joke around with and you don't take things too seriously and stuff like that.
And to tie things back into the Vikings, of course, his father does the sideline reporting for the radio.
And if you're going to bring it up, I was going to say another reason I think he's destined for fame is pedigree.
Yeah,
for sure. He knows what it's like to. I think a lot of people in comedy, I mean, me included, like anytime someone would tell me when I was a kid, like 25 years old, anytime when I would hear that, like, hey, you got it, kid, it would scare me to death. Like, I don't think it scares Greg. I don't think it, because I think
he's been around it.
He's been around it so long. He's seen what it's like when people to see nationwide exposure, and I don't think it freaks him out. Whereas I think regular people, I think it kind of does.
Yeah.
I mean that as a compliment to him.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you see that when Stephon Diggs, caught the touchdown pass, and then everybody on the sideline was going, go, 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 and like pointing toward the end zone? Greg's dad was on the cover of USA Today.
He was the one pointing?
Yes. Yes. Thank goodness he pointed the correct direction.
I did a church not long ago, about a year ago, just outside of town. I did this church men's retreat thing. I don't know if it was a retreat, but it was a men's all guys in the show, and right before the show, Greg Coleman comes up, and I go, "Hey, I know your son."
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he goes to that church. So.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, it was really neat to meet him. But
they end up having. Wait, So they end up having comedy at these retreats. I'm not a churchgoer,
right?
But my ex-wife is, and my kids are,
right.
So the weekends I have the kids, I will take them to Sunday school, right?
Okay.
Drop them off, pick them up. Now I don't have to drive in to pick them up anymore, but I used to have to, walk into the Sunday school and get them. And there was a streak of like 3 weeks in a row where I was getting stopped by guys that are members of that church going, "Hey, don't recognize you. Are you a member here?" No. My kids go to, "Oh, are you interested in joining our men's group? We do these." I'm like, what are you, what?
Yeah.
Are you interested in joining? We get together and we talk about God, and we do like
I just think
if they would have said that there's stand-up comedy by Isaac Witty, I'd be like, it doesn't sound bad.
I come from that world, and
right?
I understand where they're coming from.
Okay,
but I think, gosh, because they're told on a weekly basis, like, you got to get out there, you got to be bold, you got to like spread the gospel and stuff like that, and they don't want to do that type of thing naturally, because who would want to do that? But they think that they're doing the right thing because they're told to do it, and it's just a miscommunication thing in the body of Christ, and
the one guy had a business card and everything. Like, here's the phone number, here's the website.
Yeah. I visited Tulsa recently, and
mom and dad are still there.
Yeah, and my sister is department head at one of the biggest churches in the nation, and it's really interesting. Like when you get, because I was raised around it. Right. I went to church every Sunday and every Wednesday night from the time of birth until 24, something like that, 25, something like that. And thinking back how the church was then, and then taking a break from it for 10 years at least, and now I only go like every Christmas, and taking that break, it makes you go like, man, church has changed so much over the years. It used to be so in your face, like if you don't do this, you're going to hell. Like it was like that. It was like turn or burn. It was that type of message.
Okay.
Now it's kind of like, now it's so radically different. It's just like, God, the Pope just came out and said, like, gay people, you don't even really have to be a Christian to go to heaven. Like anything.
That's a change.
I only say gay people because the Bible happens to say no effeminate will inherit the kingdom of God, which is something that it's my main argument with Christians now.
Yep.
Because in my opinion, I always say to them, like, hey, like, you guys, no offense, but I was raised around what you're talking about, but you don't have a leg to stand on.
Correct.
You really don't. You don't have a leg to stand on. I say that just to make my stance clear on that. But, yeah, it's the way that they've gone from the way they used to be to the point where they are now, like, even the church I grew up in is like, it's so like, hey, just hang out, man. It's so laid back. It makes you go like, God, in 100 years, we're not going to be able to see it, but the church is going to be it's not even going to be recognizable from what it used to be. It's going to be so different.
Along those lines, because there are, like my kid, like I said, I don't attend the church.
Sure.
But I do go, like when my kids are, they're doing like the church choir or something and they're going to sing during the service. Mm-hmm. Then I make a point to go watch them, and I'll sit through the whole service for their 5 minutes of singing. Whatever, It is what it is. It's fine. The thing that I've noticed, and I wonder if you've noticed this too, is about and this kind of goes in with how laid back it is now. People wear like shorts and not slippers, but sandals.
Yeah.
I couldn't go to church when I was a kid without dress shoes, dress socks, dress pants, a button-up shirt. Mm-hmm. Now it's like Viking sweatshirt.
That was heavily dependent upon what denomination you were a part of. You were probably Lutheran up here,
correct.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, Lutheran was dress up. I was part of non-denominational tongue talking, but we don't dance. That type of thing. It's like Pentecostal light kind of thing. Like, but it was back then. It was, Wednesday night it'd be okay to wear sweatpants. Okay. Sunday, it's shorts as long as they're dress shorts.
Oh, okay, it was okay.
But yeah, I'm totally with you on that. As the years went by, I remember like, wow, I'm getting away with wearing jeans. Wow.
Jeans, yes, I should have said that. Jeans.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I could never wear jeans.
Yeah, now you look around church, like people, it is come as you are. We don't judge anybody. Like we're just trying to do what's best for you. If that's what makes you comfortable, that it's not what it was. You just wish that you could, these kids that want to talk about the millennials that want to talk about how judgmental and mean people are today. You want to go, you don't even know what you're talking about. Let me grab you and put you in this time machine 20 years ago. This is what we were around in. Yeah. Like, are you serious? Uh-huh. Shut up. But yeah, but you know what? Every generation has always wanted to do that,
I suppose.
Our parents, when we would say how mean they wanted to put us in a time machine and show us like how it was perfectly acceptable to slap somebody else's kid,
Yeah,
it was
true.
Back then, yeah. So,
thank God it's not anymore.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, it just makes you like, what's it going to do eventually? Like, what's going to happen?
Mm-hmm. I took some notes while I was watching your show last night, which I'm like, God, I hope I don't distract anybody by writing down a couple things here. Because I got called out once. Nick DiPaolo saw me doing it once.
Well, he probably thought you were a comedian trying to steal his jokes.
I think so. Yeah. And I'm like, no. I'm like, Nick, this is during the show. Isaac, and I'm sitting, 6 feet from the stage. I'm like, no, Nick, I'm talking to you tomorrow on the podcast. I'm just taking some notes about what you're talking about. Oh, okay. Like, this is the worst thing ever. I don't want this attention. I don't want to be part of the show. I'm here to watch it, just like everybody else. So anyway, I took a few notes while you were talking.
Right? Yeah.
Let's see here. You talked about so you're a long way. You mentioned the waiting tables. You're a long way from that. When's the last time you waited tables?
I waited tables. God. Well, see, like I kind of liked doing it. I haven't waited tables in about 3 years, something like that. But I enjoyed doing it see, like I didn't have a regular job for the longest time, and then looking back on probably your life too, like everyone can look back on this, like around 2008 when the economy crashed, everything changed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like you couldn't just be I couldn't just be a comedian anymore. I had to have a part-time job.
Let me just quickly say the thing I used to say at the radio when I worked in radio, because I was in radio at the time.
Yep.
Working on at the time, the #1 morning show in the Twin Cities, and
Sure.
was doing really well. I didn't get paid that well. And I used to say, like, when I'd ask for more money, I'd be like, look, I can't afford to work here.
Mm-hmm.
I got to have this part-time job, this part-time job, this part-time job. I can't afford to work here. A full-time job, I can't afford to work here.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I really did. I used to. It makes you more, like, I don't even know what happened, really. Like, I don't understand. Like, I know that from like 2002 to 2008, I paid my bills just fine with just comedy. And that's all I had. And it was fine. I never had any problem with it. And then when 2008 hit, it was like, my Lord, like I had that two-year period where I tried to pretend like I didn't need a job. Like things are just the same as they always were. And then in 2010, I had to just go, well, this is I guess the guy I am now. And I had a job. I've like had a regular job most of the last, 10 years, something like that. 8 years, something like that. So, yeah, I admire those that haven't had to, but really, I've never been one of those go-getter types, like I'm going to build my website, I'm going to build my fan base. It's really hard for me to care about things like that.
Why? You just don't know?
I just hate it so much. And I also detest anyone that does care greatly about it and likes to talk about, like, so how do you build your fan base? And how do you what's your website like? What? I hate it. I can't. I got nothing in common with those people. I don't know how to talk to them.
Let's remind people you didn't go to business school.
No, not at all. No, I wish I did. I wish I had that thing in me that made me want to like take things to the next level. But there's comics out there that they like to make an act out of being a slacker. I'm the real thing. Like I'm the real. I don't know how to care about things like that. And when I try, it just makes me bored.
Yeah.
So I wish I could be that type of guy, but I can't. But yeah, it's nice when I don't know. It's nice when things work out, but I don't know. I feel like there's so many there's so many comics today. Gabe always says this, and I think Gabe Noah, good friend of mine.
Yep.
He always says this, and I think there's a lot of truth to it. Up until about 5 years ago, stand-up comedy used to be a haven for like weirdos and like people who didn't fit in society and, like the outcasts and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, for some reason, I don't know if it was Last Comic Standing or something like that, a bunch of normal people started coming in, and they brought their normal people rules with them, and they're really good at spreadsheets and shit like that. Yeah. And they know how to like build a fan base, and they care about building an image, and it just makes my head spin. Like, you're not a comedian. You just know the formula of how to write a joke, and you happen to be egotistical enough to stand up in front of people, and I've always felt like, I don't know. That's not, before 5 years ago, that's not how it was. It was like people that hated themselves were in stand-up comedy, and they couldn't, like me, and I take pride in that I hate myself, and like all my friends hate themselves.
Right.
And that's what a comedian used to always be, and now there's all these normal people. So it's just kind of, it makes me look weirder now. Whereas I used
You know what, though? Maybe that's not a bad thing for
Maybe
when you
not.
come out and you're different than everybody else.
Yeah,
Because you
yeah.
are, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel different. I feel like sometimes, I feel like now more than ever, if it takes a second it takes a minute or two for people to get used to my style.
I believe, yeah. Uh-huh.
Because I'm not like most comics, and I like that. You know?
Good. Good. I'm happy to hear you say that. And you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, moving to LA, I think that's what really moving to New York showed me that more than ever. Like, you see these comics that are, they're funny, but they're funny, but their funniness is secondary to how good they are at looking at a room full of people and knowing that's the person I need to impress, you know? And that has never been something that I've naturally been interested in.
Okay.
I've always been interested in being this is a really weird thing about me. When I've gone to a party, I just want to have fun, you know? Whereas in New York and LA, that's not at all the objective, apparently. The objective is to find the most powerful person and impress them.
I see.
And that's something that, being in a room full of people like that on a regular basis, it's just baffling. It's just really, really strange, even to this day.
I have a friend that works in he still works in radio and entertainment, and not just radio, but just some other stuff too. He was trying to give me some advice and give me a little kick in the pants recently, and he told me that I need to be more social. Mm-hmm. Do you think that advice would work for you as well?
I think so, but ever since I turned 40, all I want to do is go home and go to bed. You know, are you 40?
Yeah.
Did you experience that at 40?
Yeah, sure. I mean, maybe a little before, but I'm there now. Yeah.
I really hate it. I hate.
But I also have a wife and 2 kids.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
I definitely want to just go home.
Man, I mean, people say like, I'll go to an open mic now, and they'll go, where have you been? I'll go like, just home, like, because God, I always hated the idea of becoming, I don't know, you really do have to fight nature at some point, because it really does make, like, everything in me wants to go home and go to bed at 9 o'clock.
How about New Year's? Did you work at New Year's?
I worked New Year's.
And that's a thing. Because that's been coming up. I've been curious about that in the last month or so. I'm getting different opinions on people that were here. Some are like, there's no way I'm working on New Year's ever again. I did it. They sucked. I want to take that time to party with my friends. Then others are like, it's a great paycheck. I try to get one every year.
I've always seen it as, I feel like that's one of the things that I figured out a long time ago, and somehow that's one of the few things that I came out on top on. Like, I said, starting 10 years ago, I said, for New Year's Eve, I want to either work with friends and be able to have a good time. Yeah. And who cares if the money's great, or I want to make really good money. Yeah. And I've stayed fast with that. Good. And most years I've got to. This year I worked with a friend. I didn't make great money. That's fine. Mm-hmm. I mean, most years I've been able to have either both or make really good money. Yeah. Whereas, these people that are, I just think New Year's Eve is such an empty thing anyway. Like, no matter how you slice it, you can't build it up and go like, it's going to be this magical thing, because it never is what you think it's going to be. Sure.
And one of the reasons why I brought that up is because I'm not a comic, so I didn't have to work that. I didn't have the option. Mm-hmm. I stayed home. I also didn't go to a party. I didn't do jack shit. I stayed home. Right. And I have no regrets.
I thought that I was going to go out and party that night, but I stayed after the show. Me and Gabe stayed after the show for, I don't know, an hour. We were there till 1. And really, honestly, the only reason we stayed that long was because we felt like we were in his hometown, Detroit Lake, so we felt like we needed to stay there. And I didn't want to pull him away from his friends that he was chatting with. Right. But he was totally fine with leaving at 1 o'clock in the morning. And I went right to bed. I mean, coming from a guy who spent 10 years of his life as a huge not huge. I mean, varying degrees of cokehead. It's really weird for me to be in bed at 1 o'clock in the morning. Like New Year's Eve is like, well, of course I'm going to stay up all night.
Yeah,
definitely.
Somebody's going to have coke if you don't.
I mean, and I'm going to have coke. Yeah, I'm going to buy $300 worth, and I'm going to hoard it all to myself. And I'm going to feel miserable tomorrow. The worst New Year's Day ever was Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I made really good money, and I got to work with friends. And I won't say their names because they probably don't want to be associated with this story. But it was New Year's Eve. It was probably 6 years ago, 7 years. No, it was probably, maybe longer ago than that. It was like 2009, something like that. I remember Sioux Falls. We worked nitwits in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And my friends drove from here down to Sioux Falls. And we already had a ton of drugs. They brought more drugs. And then we are in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, 6 dudes in a 2-bedroom condo with more drugs than you could need for 3 days. I mean, it was the only time I'd ever seen someone do a line and then it all falls back out of their nose. It was. Oh my God. We actually that night we were so coked up that we thought it was one of my friends had Nair, and we thought it would be funny to spray Nair all over his back and take he was a really hairy guy too, and get all the hair off his back, and all it did was just make him completely miserable the next day. I mean. That was the worst New Year's Day for him because he had a rash all over the back, all over his back because of that Nair. What a lame coke night in retrospect, compared to rock stars and stuff.
It would have been great if you somehow would have got arrested later that night and having to tell that story in the. What are you in for? Oh man, the Nair got out of control.
Man. Oh God, we all have hairless backs, man.
Oh, I love it. The other thing I want to bring up that you mentioned last night. Now I don't know how much you want to say because you're doing it on stage, but you mentioned opening for Amy Schumer. Yeah, and it didn't go too well.
Oh yeah, it was a horrific situation. I remember I was sitting having lunch at this place, and I saw on the internet, just messing around on my phone, I saw, Amy's gonna be in town in 2 weeks, or maybe a week. Actually, it was only a week away, and I was sitting there, and I thought, I haven't communicated with her in a long time, but we honestly really did. I mean, she would have tested. We used to be really good friends. We worked. We were in this festival called the Piccolo Spoleto Festival years ago in Charleston, South Carolina, and it was pretty much like we lived together for a month one time, and I always just said as far as. I don't know. I don't mean this as sexist at all, but most of the time girls have a hard time playing along. With any joke, it did not matter how crude the joke was, how outlandish the thing we were joking about. Amy, I always loved Amy because you could play anything with her. She's going to play along, and she would add, and she's so funny to joke around with. She's so funny. And that's why but we used to be really good friends. That's what I'm getting at. Yep. Anyway, I texted her, having not communicated with her for a long time, and then she was like, "Hey, you want to do a set at my show?" And I was like, "Sure." And then I got a text message to me and to her tour manager or whatever saying, Isaac Witty is a Minneapolis comic, and he is going to be doing a set at our show in Minneapolis. He is to be paid $1,000. I was like, sweet. I'm not even emceeing. I'm just doing a set at this show at the Target Center, and I'm going to get paid $1,000. So then, about 3 days later, I get an email from her tour manager or whoever it is. It's just incredible, how. Knowing her back when she was a nobody to she has a team of people that work for her. It's awesome. It's really cool to see that for her. But then she then I'm getting emails from the team of people, the army of people that work for her.
Sure.
And they're saying like, oh, it turns out that her regular opener isn't able to make it, so you're just going to be the regular MC. I'm like, nice, you know? And I didn't realize all this time, like really, I think I said, God, did I say it? No, that's right. So yeah, I went down to Target Center the day of, which was the day that Prince died, by the way. The day, so it was a really weird day. The day Prince died was the day that I also had a pretty weird day.
Yeah, you couldn't. And going down to Target Center, you couldn't avoid people mourning because everybody's doing it outside First Avenue, which is across the street. Yeah.
So I walked down to Target Center. They told me I could do a mic check, and I was like, I know it's stupid, but I kind of just want to see what my voice sounds in a 10,000 seat venue. You know? So I go down there just to say check, hello. Okay, that's what I sound like. Okay, bye. And I was like, you know, feeling like. Then I called Kermit Apio, who opens for Brian Regan all the time.
Oh yeah, good person
And I was
to
like,
talk
okay,
to.
so what should I expect? And he gave me all these pointers. He's like, believe me, they're going to be with you, like blah blah blah. Which my experience had always been like that. Being that I'd open, you know, I've done 5,000 seat venue, 3,000 seat venues, like State Theater, stuff like that, opening for cool shows, you know. But I'd never done an arena where they play basketball games, you know.
Right.
And so Kermit Apio was like, just be aware, like sometimes they're going to be looking over you, and don't let that throw you off because they're just looking at the monitor behind you. And I'm like, okay, good advice. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And don't let the booming voice or the echoing voice bother you. You just expect that. I'm like, okay, thank you for telling me that. All right. But, and then right before I go on, I said to Amy, and screw you, Amy. You didn't know what you were talking about. Amy, like, there's no way that she could know what it's like to open for a show. Like, I love her, but her advice was not correct at all.
Okay.
Her advice was just treat it like a regular club show. Which
you can't.
No. And I didn't really fully I took into consideration, wait a minute, you're the person that people are coming to see, you know, like, you know, but at the same time, it wasn't even close to that. As soon as I got on stage, I realized, oh, no one is paying attention.
Oh no.
At all. Oh, no. At all. Like from moment one, it's like I get introduced and you can hear you know, times 10,000. You know, they're all talking. No one's listening.
Yeah.
And you can't blame them.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying I didn't realize it would be to that extent not giving a shit.
Unfortunately, some of those people were talking to their friend next to them going, who the fuck is this?
Yeah,
and then
most
that
of the
person
time.
went, I have no idea.
And I don't blame them for that.
Checked out. Yeah.
No, I'm not saying I blame the crowd at all. I blame myself for not. You know what I should have done? And it's not even in me to be this, but I should have tried to be like, who's here to have a good time? You know, I should have been a cheerleader.
Yeah.
That's what I should have done. And I did not know that.
That would have sucked him in at first, I think.
I did not. Yeah. That would have been a much, much, much better idea than just launching into my act. Of course, in Amy's defense, she probably thought that I would have had enough sense to have known such a thing. But I didn't know that. I walked in there completely idiotic. And you know what? It really was sad to say. Like, it was crushing. It was crushing. Oh. It was so incredible. That's why I feel like talking about it on stage, even though it's probably not my biggest laugh of the night. I just really, it's therapeutic for me to talk about it and be open about it because it hurt so much. It hurt my ego so much to be treated that way by so many people. It was an awful experience.
Man.
It was so bad. Like, no matter how bad a set any comics ever had, how bad a set personally I'd ever had, it was by far 100 times worse than that. And it was like I felt like people either hated me or even worse, felt sorry for me. It's the worst feeling when people feel sorry for you when you're on stage.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's even worse. Like, I would say the worst thing that someone can do to you when you're doing bad on stage is the fake demeaning laugh. Like, and there was a lot of that going on.
Oh, no.
It was just as bad as it possibly could be. And I got through it, and now I try to talk about it on stage here and there. But yeah, it was. I'm glad it's something that I can laugh about now, because for about a month, all I did was just drink a lot.
So that's where the 1,000 went?
I really did. Just I didn't do anything. I stayed at home as much as I possibly could. Because when I did go out, like I had a job waiting. Man, did I have a waiting tables job at that time? Maybe it was 2 years ago. I don't know. But I remember being at work and like people. I couldn't avoid people saying things about what they heard.
Oh.
Yeah, it was just awful for a month. It was truly, truly horrible.
Sir, could you warm up my coffee? Oh, your coffee's cold? Well, I fucking bombed in front of 10,000 people. Get it yourself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's something that my friends started telling me after a while. Like, you don't have to bring up that you bombed in front of 10,000 people to every person you encounter.
I say put it on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Own that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That was pretty awful.
Since I knew we were talking today, something I like to do is I'll look up the hometown news of my guest and see if there's anything interesting. So I looked one up for Tulsa.
Okay.
Did you happen to look up the Tulsa news this morning?
I have not. No, the Tulsa World?
No, why would you? Yeah, I think it is.
It is a Tulsa World. I know that because there's only one newspaper. There used to be the Tribune, but they went out of business.
Yeah. So let's see here. I'm gonna pull this up. Oh, okay, here it is. So this is hot off the press.
Okay.
Tulsa news.
Okay.
Tulsa World actually says it right there. Tulsa World.
Yep.
I want your thoughts on this and how big of a news story this must be back in Tulsa,
all right,
your hometown. A Dixie Cup that the king of rock and roll reportedly drank from 62 years ago in downtown Tulsa is up for auction on eBay.
Oh, wow, okay.
A fan of Elvis Presley known only as June.
He played at the Civic Center, I bet.
June snagged the cup in April 1956, and an Elvis collector from North Carolina. June reportedly got the cup from the singer himself just before he left town for a show in Oklahoma City. As of yesterday afternoon, the high bid was $1,080. It says Elvis performed April 18th. That was the day before this cup was had. At the Tulsa Fairgrounds Pavilion.
Oh, the pavilion. He performed there, huh?
Yeah. Have you performed the pavilion?
Better. No, I haven't. I'd love to someday.
Really?
The pavilion is right by the fairgrounds. That's a much better venue than the Civic Center.
Okay.
Yeah. I saw Candlestick perform there.
All right. In 1993, I'm guessing?
Around there. No,
92?
Would have been 96.
96.
95, 96, around there. Yeah. I remember, it would have been 96 because I remember Candlestick, the lead singer, said, "One more thing, don't vote for fucking Bob Dole."
Oh!
Yeah, rock the vote.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He also said, go United States Olympic team, probably, too. Maybe an Olympics thing here. So there you go. Elvis's Dixie Cup.
Well, I mean, gosh. I mean, I want to know, one, was it legitimately drank from Elvis?
Oh, they're saying it is.
They're saying it was?
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, $1,000. That's
yeah, it says he stayed the night at an unknown downtown Tulsa hotel. He woke up the next morning, and I guess he had the breakfast and went shopping for clothes, and that's when the cup was gotten. I have no idea if that's correct English, but yeah, when it was gotten. He drank from the cup right before he left Tulsa to go to Oklahoma City.
Well, if you really, you know what? That's kind of a Tulsa story, but in a way, if it's on eBay, that's a worldwide story because we're talking somebody from China could buy that Dixie Cup.
Oh, it needs to stay in Tulsa, doesn't it?
I believe so. Yeah, keep that Dixie Cup in T-Town.
Doesn't the Chamber of Commerce need to put some money together, keep it in town?
I think so. Well, no, I'll tell you that right now. That's not going to happen because Tulsa people do not. They want to keep their taxes low. They want to keep their guns.
Oh, okay.
They want to keep their guns. They want to keep. That's a unique thing about Tulsa is, all this stuff you always hear about, like the city has a deficit. That never happens in Tulsa, because if towards the end of the fiscal year, if they can't afford to turn the city lights on, they shut them off.
Oh,
because we do not go over budget.
Shut her down.
We don't. And people make fun of people from other states, but that's way smarter.
Yeah.
In my opinion, shut it down if you can't afford it. Like, when you drive down the streets in Tulsa, you can't see a lot of stuff unless you put the brights on.
What? Really?
You can't. Yeah, there's a lot of streets. They shot there'll be a main street and the lights are off because they're over budget.
I'm gonna implement this in my home in the winter when the XL energy bill gets out of control. Honey, we can't afford this for the rest of the month. We're shutting her down.
And they allow you to go over budget by not asking for the money until May.
Oh yeah, they sure
will.
do.
Yeah.
I still don't have it. What time do we have here? Oh, we should let's do a little bit more here. You don't have your hat on right now, but a lot of times I see you, including last night, you're wearing your Twins hat.
Normally.
Want to talk a little Twins?
Sure, yeah. Yeah.
Are you going to Twins Fest this weekend?
That's this weekend?
So you're not.
I never plan to go, but I normally go.
Yeah.
Wow. God, yeah. You know what? Okay, this is what we got to jump right to is Sano's sexual.
That wasn't right here. It says Sano on my list here.
I mean, this. God, I really hate how this particular, like a lot of times, like with the James Franco thing, for instance, I think that sounds to me, it's because no names have been mentioned. That doesn't sound legitimate to me.
Okay.
Whereas this one, unfortunately, every sports writer in town vouches for this girl. Like you can't help but go, shit. He probably did it, and that sucks that he did that. But at the same time, what he did was terrible. He tried to yank a girl in the bathroom.
He tried to force a kiss on her or something? Is that what they're saying? And
he tried to force a kiss on her. Like he grabbed her wrist, and she claims she still felt it the next day. That sucks. There should be some type of penalty, but you don't deserve to be kicked out of the league. You don't deserve to be. I mean,
so right now they're trying to figure out what they're going to do.
Yeah,
he's not. Twins Fest is a thing for people that don't know. Every year they bring back current, former players to big autograph signing, collectibles, and whatnot. They host. I think it's at Target Field now these days. And normally, Brian Dozier will be there, and Michael Kadire will probably be there, former Twin.
Yeah.
Miguel Sano will not be there.
Morneau will probably. Oh, Sano is definitely not going to be there.
Correct.
Yeah, he can't be.
Yeah.
Yeah, which unfortunately sucks, though, that they actually have to pretty much force these players to come to Twins Fest.
Probably.
Much. I've heard they have to really put the full court press on him, which because of these allegations against him, he gets to stay home.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the kids that got suspended when you're in high school. Like, oh wait, so the bad student gets to stay home? Right. Oh, that's going to help him finish this out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that sucks. I really do think that with this whole, I mean, what's his name? The guy from Good Will Hunting. I suck at names.
Oh, Matt Damon?
Matt Damon. What Matt Damon said, and what a shame that when someone comes out and makes a lot of sense, when someone like that comes out and makes a lot of sense, he's treated like he's sexist himself. And now he's having to say, I wish I would have listened more. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
He said something that made a lot of sense. He said there needs to be – you can't treat them all like they're completely assaulting.
Correct.
Some guys are just squeezing girls' butts, which also isn't right.
Correct.
But you can't treat this the same as that.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he said, and he was shunned for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous. And I'm not a celebrity, so I'm allowed to make sense publicly. So, yeah, there should be an appropriate punishment for Miguel Sano, but not extradition,
Yeah.
Extradition? Yeah. He shouldn't be kicked out of the league. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's a weird thing. And when all this it's true. Inevitably, there's a news story that's going to hit you. Like what, you might not have a connection to give a shit about like James Franco. Like, oh, he's in trouble. He's not in trouble. I don't care. I care about a victim, alleged victim, whatever. But then it hits like you're a Twins fan. It's like, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks.
Hope you didn't do this.
So stupid. And it sounds like he did. It really does. You can't blame. Yeah.
I tell you, that's a pretty unforeseen. Like, let's just play it out, and let's say he doesn't get to play this year. Boy, how could you predict
That would be
How could you
horrible.
predict that would happen? You know,
That would be horrible. That would be God. That would be really bad. Because that's not fair to fans. I think it should just hurt his pocketbook. That's all it should do. I think, and it should be strong enough. But you're punishing fans for what he did if you're going to take him out for a whole season. I don't know.
You going to go to spring training at all? You going down to Florida?
I did that 2 years ago. I had a blast.
Right.
But no, I don't think I'm going this year. Do you go to that?
I've been. It's been a long time.
It is fun.
It's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun going to those spring training games. Yeah, I wish I could go. I had a really, me and Steve Gillespie got to we got to work together at this club down there that I don't think exists anymore.
During spring training?
During spring training,
you booked him during a trip.
It was great. Like we got to get a paid trip down there. Like his parents live down there, so he got to see his mom and stepdad, and we stayed the night at his mom and stepdad's place one night, and it was really, really fun. Yeah, but I hope to go again someday.
Did you?
The food down there is really good.
Oh, because you don't. When they bring the seafood to you, you don't question how long it's been frozen.
The seafood is insanely good, and the Mexican food and the Cuban food is really, really good.
Never caught on to that. That sounds delicious.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm going to quickly go through my notes here. Is there anything else I wanted to mention that we should talk about? We should congratulate Derek Johnson, the manager here, who is a father now.
That's right.
Yes.
Is it a boy or a girl? I know he had a baby.
A girl.
Had a girl? Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Congratulations.
So congrats to Derek, the manager here at Acme, who's a father as of Monday, and Lauren, his wife, used to work here as well. Let's see here. Is it okay for me to be a Houston Astros fan in addition to a Twins fan?
Yeah.
And is it okay that my fandom only goes back to like half of last season?
I said at the beginning of last season, who's going to beat the Astros?
Okay.
I have some friends who, oh man, I had a terrible moment with them. Like I felt so bad about it, but I've talked with them since then.
Okay.
Do you remember that day that Byron Buxton? I think he hit 2 home runs that day, and Correa was their guy. So we chose Buxton in the draft, and then they had the next pick, and they chose Correa.
Okay.
So that day, comparing Buxton to Correa, I said to them, I texted, it's a girl and a guy. She's a comic, and her husband, they're both huge Astros fans.
Okay.
And I texted both of them, how did Correa do yesterday? Buxton hit 2 home runs. And then they texted back, our house is flooded. We've lost everything.
No!
Oh my God. I was like, oh shit. What an inappropriate text.
And you're like, I bombed in front of 10,000 people.
Oh, man, I felt so bad about that. I go, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. And there's nothing else you can say.
Oh, no.
Because you know that they're, like, up in their ankles in water at the time.
Yeah.
Like, God, what a jerk I was.
Yeah.
I had not put the Astros together with Houston. I didn't know.
Right.
And on top of that... like, I don't think any of us up here knew how extremely bad Houston was.
You're talking about the hurricane.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I don't think any of us knew how extremely horrible that was until 5 days after. I didn't anyway, because who sits and watches the news all day long, you know? Like,
True.
Oh, I felt terrible about that. But, yeah, I've talked to them since then. That guy, his lifelong dream was to own a DeLorean. It was hilarious. Like, he actually owned a DeLorean and lost the DeLorean.
In the flood.
So sad. Like, he had a picture of their little baby as Doc, and he was for Halloween.
Yeah.
He was the little baby was Doc, and he was Marty for Halloween.
Yeah.
DeLorean was great for pictures. They lost the DeLorean. Oh, it sucks. Yeah.
Well, the other ones that are left over just went up in value. So
yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's true.
Is there anything else we should be mentioning?
Oh, you know what? Profession Confession is a podcast that I co-host a lot.
Okay.
With Gabe Noah. Yeah. If you guys haven't listened, you should. It's a podcast that we do. It's like involving jobs that involve sex or death. Or drugs or something like that. Like, it's really fascinating to delve into the anonymous lives of these people that, do these horrible jobs or interesting jobs that you've always wondered about. We've interviewed a lot of strippers, drug dealers, like people in the military, like paramedics, like interesting stuff. Like, so yeah, it continues to be interesting because we're so interested while hearing about stuff like that.
That helps a lot.
It really, we're genuinely interested, and you should give it a shot. So
for sure. Have you had anyone on that cleans up crime scenes? Yeah,
I wasn't in that episode, but yeah, he does have an episode where they interview this girl. Her family owns a suicide, like if somebody commits suicide.
I wonder if it's the same people I know.
Yeah,
because I got a buddy who's works with family that does that.
They say apparently the most common place that people commit suicide is in bed. Like they want to be in bed as though they're going to sleep.
Oh wow!
And it's she talks about in detail like the particles that they have to clean up and like how the cost of things like that. It's really interesting stuff.
Yeah, fascinating.
Yeah,
not something I want to do firsthand.
No, I don't want to do it. I don't think I want to do it.
It's sort of like your own version of Dirty Jobs, kind of, right?
Yeah. Sometimes strippers, they have patrons that the patron wants them to fart on them.
What?
Yeah. Sometimes there's that. Yeah.
Like in a strip club?
Yeah.
While they're dancing?
During the dance. Yeah. During the dance. Will you fart on me?
What if I bring a burrito next time and then an hour later you come back? How long does it take?
Yeah, there's stuff like that. Like strippers talk about how often they get asked to come to the hotel, how often they really do, which is pretty much 0% of the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They get asked 100% and show up 0.
100% of the nights they work, they get asked to go to a hotel room.
Has to be.
Yeah. I've been the jerk that thought that the girl, she said she was going to come up. Well, she said she would.
This wasn't like a normal. She was like legitimately, sincerely interested in me.
She wasn't talking to me like she was the rest of these jerks. Like she was talking to me like a real person.
Yeah. I mean, I gave her the money, but she probably wouldn't even, if I wouldn't have given it to her, she would have been fine. On the house, probably.
Yeah. That was me all through my early 20s. Yeah. I really did believe that stuff.
Oh.
One time I worked the Atlanta Punchline.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And there was a strip club directly across the parking lot from the Atlanta Punchline.
Oh,
and the first night we worked, I worked with I can't believe I remember this. The headliner was Keevy Rogers. Does it ring a bell at all?
Mm-mm.
Nice guy, funny guy. And to this day, he sees me and he calls me a sucker. Yeah, you look like a big lollipop.
Oh.
He calls me that because I was such a sucker that week. And we went to the strip club, and there was a dancer, and she really took an interest in me.
Yeah.
And she told me, she goes, here's what I want to do. I want to get out of here. So just wait right here for me. I'm going to go outside and change, and then you'll see me up there in the balcony. I'll give you a wave, and that's when go outside and I'll meet you out there and let's go have some breakfast or something. And I thought, wow, this girl really is into me. And we're not even going to drink. We're going to go have a meal and hang out and get to know each other. And then I waited for 30 minutes and then an hour and then an hour and a half. And I waited for 2 hours. And, then I thought, oh, something must have gone wrong. Some man must have made her leave or something like that. Against her will.
Right. She's probably, she's in some unsafe situation.
Yeah. I really worried about her. So that's why I went back the next night. I went back the next night and I asked about her. Where is she? How can I get a hold of her? And then I went back the next night. Luckily, it happened on Tuesday. So I had the whole weekend.
Oh, good for you.
I had the whole weekend to keep going back every single night. Where is she?
Yeah.
What's wrong? What did I do?
Oh, no.
And then by the end of the week, I had gotten angry. I didn't want to know what I had done wrong. I wanted a reasonable explanation for why she would do such a thing.
To you.
To me.
Okay, now you've put me through 5 days of hell. Now you at least, for all we've gone through.
Yeah. God, that's such an idiot. I think I was 23 when that happened. Yeah. Yeah. Did not have a good week at that club either. No.
Where is she now?
I wonder. Probably looking for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Uh-huh.
That's the only reasonable explanation I can think of.
She's going club to club.
Where is he? Why would he do this to me?
David Crow was booked here, so she wasn't even going to come this week, and now you screwed that up.
There's no way that she could know that I'm here.
Isaac, this has been fantastic. This was a great treat to have you this week.
It's been fun.
It's been too long.
Yep.
Let's do this again.
All right.
And
yeah,
people
let's do
need
it.
to definitely come out and see you here at Acme through Saturday.
I'll be here through Saturday. Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, man.
All right. Thank you.